Hello, everyone. Welcome to the next version of Let's Get Solving with Google Cloud. My name is Nitin Khatter. I'm working as a customer engineer with Google Cloud Platform. I'm working as a data analytics specialist, and I normally work with multiple other customers to help them onboard to Google Cloud, build them a robust data strategy, and look at their architectures and propose what is the best architecture for solving their use cases. So in today's session, we'll learn about how you can do a interactive dashboarding using Data Studio. So this is one of the free tools that we have within Google Cloud suite of products. We looked at in the last session that how we can use BigQuery, how fast it is, with all the different differentiators that it brings in, how easy it is for you to use BigQuery and start analyzing the data out of it. Now, on the top of it, a very traditional way that everybody would be looking at is how do you create dashboards on the top of it. So in today's session, we'll learn about how Data Studio can help you build this dashboard across multiple different data sources like BigQuery, like Google's marketing suite of products or any third-party data sources, and then use it for doing some sort of a basic interactive dashboarding with some reporting that you want to build on the top of it. We'll also have a demo that we'll be doing on Quick Labs. So let's get started. So first of all, okay, let's step back and look at why do we need some sort of a dashboarding tool. So if you look at some of these numbers that we have taken from outside, from the industry view, from the trends that are going on, what we have seen is 60% of the marketers said that the measurement of marketing tools are really difficult to use. They are because there is a lot of problems in terms of there are specific ways to use those tools. There are specific data source or integrations that they have. Some are working on some integrations while the other one is not available, the other, and the collaboration. So the cross-team collaboration becomes really difficult. 84% of the marketers surveyed that they don't believe that there are data sources are properly well integrated. And this is really true and is the heart of the entire problem. We are not looking at every single data source. What we're trying to look at is, okay, a particular marketing tool is helping me look at some of my marketing sources, some of my click streams, some of my ads data. But what about the data which is transactional? What are the data which is coming through any third parties? So is my tool, first of all, responsible or is it capable, I would say, of looking at that particular data or looking at the data across disparate data sources? And lastly, if you look at 57% of the marketers stated that it is difficult to give their stakeholders in different functions access to data insights, the self-service access part of it. How you can embed those analytics or those reports into a custom application so that your stakeholders or business stakeholders can start consuming that and finally should be able to take decisions based on that particular data or that particular insights that we have showcased it to them. So that adds to your product innovation. How does the feedback loop gets completed? All of this would require some sort of a tools that first can integrate with data across different environments. It should be able to help you have a cross-team collaboration. It should be able to have that minimal capabilities of you creating dashboards very quickly. You don't have to deal with any sort of mundane tasks or any overhead or any pre-warming for that particular tool. And lastly, they should be able to embed this analytics into custom applications for everyone to consume. Now, before going to the solution, let's step back and look at our problem statement that we started in this particular series on data analytics. Twitter sentiment analysis, one of the what we started with. We found out that there's streaming API of Twitter we already have. It can come to a App Engine. So the entire use case of identifying the sentiments. So we looked at in the first session that from PubSub how you can insert events into data flow. And then from using data flow, you can ingest those data into BigQuery. We looked at the capabilities of BigQuery for you to, in a very serverless fashion, analyze the data in a SQL native format. And then there are more things that you can do around BigQuery. Now we'll look at that, the Data Studio, which is going to form the next part of it, is how do you visualize those things? How do you create the reports out of that? So now we are going to the last stages of the entire pipelines where we are looking at how do you analyze the data. So we'll be looking at first the Data Studio, and then in the next session, we'll also talk about how you can analyze using notebooks, using a data science and an exploratory analysis standpoint. Okay, moving on. So let's understand what is Data Studio, how it works. So basically, Data Studio works on simple steps. It connects your to your all of your data, not just data sitting in your data warehouse, but your other marketing suite of products. And we'll see that in the next slide. It visualizes your data in a very informative, reportive fashion. So you can create data sources, you can create multiple reports, you can do metrics, you can do dimension and the measures, you can create multiple smaller dashboards in a big report. You can share that report in form of emails, you can embed that into a custom application, you can export the reports in the formats that was required, and at the same time you can do auto refresh of those dashboards up to minimum starting with 15 minutes to a later time zone. And then at the same time you can do a lot more on those particular reports. You can basically start analyzing that, using that for any of your exploratory analysis. You can use it for doing any sort of cost analysis. You can do it for any sort of other like ad analysis. You can build all sort of advanced dashboarding in the top of it. And finally you can share it across the organization. So as I said, in form of exports or emails or any of the access controls that you want to bring out to give it to other users, you can easily do that. You can use it in a shareable fashion, in an editable fashion. All these capabilities are very well possible. Moving on. So when I said we can connect all your data, bring all your data into one place, you can use Google Sheets, you can use Google BigQuery, Google Cloud Platform, any other SQL data warehouse or SQL systems that you want to bring in, Google AdWords, DoubleClick. So all suite of products that you would look at from Google and non-Google as well, be it a SQL. Okay, so basically, if you give you a background, so Data Studio started as one of our visualization tools in our Google Marketing Platform. So all these integrations that you see on the right hand side from analytics, attribution, audience optimize, double click, they were all there when it started to evolve as a marketing platform. But then we realized that this is only the one part of the data. When you deal with the enterprises or any enterprises trying to break down the silos of data, they're also looking at data which is beyond this, which is in Sheets, which could be in Drive, which could be in BigQuery, which could be in any other SQL systems. So we need a way that Data Studio should also integrate. That's the time we introduced this into Google Cloud suite of products as well. Now, recently we've also introduced Looker, and many a time people ask questions that whether I should go for a Data Studio or Looker. So at a very high level, I'll just touch upon it. Is Looker is more of an enterprise BI, where you are not just looking at interactive analysis or descriptive analytics and building some dashboards, but more to that. You want to build a virtualization layer, a business semantic layer. You want to have a data-driven applications and you want to put into a custom application at the same time. You want to have a very fine-grained access control over your data. And at the same time, you want to use that particular thing across multiple data sources, different cloud providers or on-prem. You can use the Looker for all those things and even real-time reporting. So Looker is a much more advanced, much more enterprise savvy kind of dashboarding. But if you want to go for a lightweight interactive dashboarding, which may not be meant for real time, but you can have refreshes up to minimum 15 minutes with auto refreshes. But you want to look at how do you want to get started quickly without any cost, a free tool. So Data Studio, fits a really good purpose. It already has an integration with Maps also, Google Maps also, where you can plot a lot of things in a geographical fashion, in a maps fashion as well. So that's also possible for Data Studio. Now let's look at a demo and see how you can start creating reports. And for the demo, as always, we'll be using Quick Labs. So again, I'll ask you to scan this QR code. I'll give you, let's say, wait for 30 seconds, scan this QR code. This will take you to the data flow, the first lab that we did. And you have to complete that lab first, and that will enable you access of 30 days trial, where you can then go through all different courses available on Google Cloud Platform, on BigQuery, and on Data Studio or any other tools that I just talked about in the data analytics, and even other suite of products as well. So please, I would encourage you to scan this QR code, complete the data flow lab, and then today we'll be looking at Data Studio lab as well. So let's move on and move to a particular lab. We know how to run it. This is the lab I was talking about. So you can search through the Data Studio and you will find this lab. This is a starter lab, meant for the introductory standpoint, where we'll learn how to explore and create reports with Data Studio. So let's get started on this. I'll start the lab. So this will, provision a system for me. Yes, now I can go and right click and put it into an incognito tab window. Okay, so let's look at what is the username. Okay, so it is going to initialize the system for us. I think QuickLab is a really good environment that ever us to get started. And many times it's difficult that we set up everything on our own systems or in our own accounts. QuickLab gives you a way that you can start, on testing it out or learning specific use cases that you're looking at or specific services that you want to learn before going into details of you managing it, you building it. I think as a starting point, QuickLabs is really good. And then after that, once you've completed this lab, you can easily go into specific areas, go into your own Google Cloud Console account and start practicing those things. So coming back to this particular lab, if you look at, it talks about what is Data Studio, and we're going to read, a particular table which is there in BigQuery. In the last session, we built, we looked at a public data set of e-commerce on BigQuery. So now we'll go ahead and look at some of the BigQuery tables, how we can analyze and build reports on the top of it using Data Studio. So here the data studio used is again the same e-commerce data set that we took in the last Google BigQuery session. And then there are records for the Google Merchandise Store also loaded into BigQuery, and we'll create a data report on the top of it. So what are we going to do is we'll launch the Data Studio, we'll create and manipulate a report. We'll also add an interactive filter on your report. So you want to run any interactive queries where you want to give some dynamic filters on particular attributes, you can also do that. So in order to let's complete the steps. I think those are complete. Let's now open the Google Data Studio in a newer tab or window. Okay. So in order to do that, you can let's go back to the console that we have. So Data Studio. So basically you can just simply go here and also write datastudio.google.com. It is going to open up the Data Studio for this particular console. Yeah, it's there. Now let's look at this particular step. Okay, from the home page. So here, if you see, this is the landing page. We have already reached to the home page. So we have to just create a blank report. Okay. So let me create a blank report. Okay. And we can simply, get started. So it's going to do the same thing that I said: connect, visualize, and share. So first thing, we are going to connect with a BigQuery dataset. We can accept the terms and conditions. Just do a yes to all and done. Okay. So now, once the APIs have been enabled, okay, so we have already accepted and done and everything is. So click the blank report now again. So let me just minimize this one. Okay, click the blank report. Yeah, so now so it asks you to connect to a particular data source. So we're going to connect it to BigQuery. We will first authorize it to access BigQuery projects. So the authorization is done. You will see that these projects, any shared projects will start coming in. This is the project that we are currently hosting this in. Okay, so now we have reached the stage. We have already connected it with the BigQuery, and as you see, there are other data sources are also present, and we've authorized it as well. So now we'll go into our project ID, shared projects, and for the shared project name, we will use the data to insights. So let's copy this particular name. Let's go back there, and we are going to our own projects. This is the project. Okay, sorry. We are going to the shared projects, and there look at this particular project and enter the data to insights. Okay, so now we are here, and we have to choose the data sort e-commerce, the same that we used last time. Here is the e-commerce data set and specific table called sales report. So last time we looked at the all sessions raw table. Now let's look at, there's already a pre-aggregated table called sales report. Let's say the data is already pre-aggregated. You want to create the report on the top of it. So just click on add. So this is a kind of a data source will be added, and you can simply click on add to report. So on my report that I just created a blank report, now this particular data source is already integrated. Now I can start building. So by default, it loads me with a small chart where it is grouped up by a product SKU and what is a record count. So just a aggregation and grouping here, it is already added. Now let's look at the quick labs and customize this one thing. We have added a preview is available on the right hand side. Under the available fields, we have something called ratio, and we can drag it to the dimension section and click on the number icon. So as they said, these are all the available fields. We have ratio. We can drag it to the dimension. We can click on this particular thing on the ratio side of it, and you can select from numeric to percent. So just select numeric within that a percent. Okay. So this one's done. And then you should see now the ratio column is added as a percentage. Delete the table that you created for you. You will now create a report for a customer. So we'll create our own table. So what you can do is just delete this one. So as you can see, the ratio is added as a percentage. I think that is what we talked about. And now let's remove this particular table. Yeah, so this is removed. Let's check the process. So yeah, the blank report is done. Now let's start creating our own report. So adding a report title, right now it's in the untitled report. Let's rename this one with the given name. So that's, you can do that. This is what we have done. Now the next step is we click the text icon. Looks like a box in the reporting tool. So we have a text icon. Here is the text icon. I'm going to put a text out here. So we can just put the text in the blank list, which is a product inventory. Okay, done. And then highlight the text, and you can put the pixel, and you can change a lot of those things. So let's quickly do that. And we can have 32 or anything, and you can change a lot of other things if you want. Now let's start creating a data table. I think that's the most important. So from the menu bar, we'll insert a table, click onto the report to drop your table free, and then we'll put the data into that particular table. So from the insert here, go into a table. So let's put the table out here. If the product SKU is not present in the dimension section, click the product SKU. So it's already added, as we have seen, and there is a record count which is also added. We can remove this record count and add the stock level to the metric. So what we'll do is, it's already added the product SKU in the record count. We'll remove the record count, and what we're going to add is a stock level. We can drag the stock level out here. So by default, it will give me it's using a sum on the stock level. We can also drag a ratio also apart from that. So let's use the ratio and also add it into the dimension. So ratio is also added. Then restocking lead time. So let's add another dimension. It's added on the top of ratio. So let's add, yeah. So now there you will see 3 columns. So all of them are added. So there is ratio, there is restocking lead time, and there is stock level for a particular product SKU. So it is already grouped. Now let's look at the sorting. On the record count, choose the ratio as the one which is used to be sorting and used for descending. So we are going to sort by the ratio. So we'll go to the sorting table. So it's by default record count. We'll choose ratio out here, and it's already descending. So now if you see that it's already sorted by the descending via ratio. And then now let's look at the styling part of it. We'll click on the style tab. So this is the style tab. If you look at it, so it will help you do any styling of this entire dashboard or chart. Particularly under table header, we can do a lot of these customizations. You can wrap the text. I think the text is not wrapped right now. So we can simply, under the table header, we can say tab. Yeah. So this is, so you can do a lot of these customizations. Now let's move further and see what it looks like. So we have manually adjusted the widths. That's already done, and it looks fine. So now let's look at the other part of it, which is the interactive filter. I think that's a important use case you want to cover today. So we need to click on the filter icon. So if you look at, there's going to be a filter out somewhere. So let's find out. So in the reporting tools tray, you will see the filter icon. So it needs to be, yes, this is the add a control. And above you click and drag to create a particular filter. So what we need to do is a simple advanced filter. We can choose which particular filter are we looking for. And in the data panel, specify the name as the dimension. And okay, so and the dimension we're going to, and the metric we're going to take is a total ordered. So let's take an advanced filter out here and let's put it somewhere here. So right now it is based on a product SKU. As the control field, we will supply the data panel that opens and specify the name as the dimension, total orders as the metric. So we can use name, and we've chosen an advanced filter. We can choose other filters also if required. So as I said, there are a lot of ways you can do an input box. You can use a slider or a drop-down list. So here we have taken name as the filter, and there is a metric attached to it. And then we can also add other filters if required. So on the other different things. So if you look at here, this is how it is looking at. So if you go back on the table, okay, so we can add a dimension called, its name is added as a dimension apart from the product SKU. Okay, we can add it here on the top. You will see a name appearing, right? And then a total ordered as the metric, another metric. So we are going to add total ordered. Sorry for that. Yeah. And total ordered is also there in the upper right. Okay. So this is something we have created. Now let's click on the view. Okay, so this is how your dashboard right now looks like. And you can start doing a filter analysis if I want. So let's try and look at whether it's, so if I just write Android, so it's going to filter only the Android one. So will not use equals, will instead use starts with. So now if you see, okay, so it started to add that interactive filter on the top. So that's how easy it is to add an interactive filter. You can add multiple filters, customize this one, give it a better look and feel. So and just go back to the edit scenario, and you can start adding more and more charts as you want. So let's say we want to add further charts, and there are multiple charts available. You can want a scorecard, a time series kind of a chart, that how does this sales report looks like over a period of time, or any other bar charts. So you can all add those. Let's say, for example, I want to use a time series chart. I can add here, on that particular chart, I can add the particular data that I'm looking for, or any particular filters that I'll be looking for, or you can add other charts as well. So that's how easy you can play around with the Data Studio. Go with other quick labs also that talks about what else you can do in the Data Studio. There's a complete quest related to that. So that's all I had in the session today. We have seen how the Data Studio works, how easy it is to link and connect that data source. We have looked at how to create a particular report. I'll also show you that there's a share tab here that you can share, this particular report. You can invite people, you can schedule email delivery, you can get a report link. And using this link, you can, send it to someone. You can embed the report. As I said, you can, if you click on this, it will enable an embedding of this report. It will give you an iframe that you can just paste out, or even you can embed as a URL directly somewhere. And in your custom applications, you will have it running. Or you can directly invite people. This is what I was talking about. Add people, manage access. You can have fine grained access controls, who can view, who can edit, you can notify, and all those things can be done. So we looked at all three things, which is you're connecting it with a data source, just like we used one, which is BigQuery, and there are others also available. And then if you look at, if you want me to look at that again, so there's a, how do you connect to a particular data source? We use the BigQuery in our scenario, and then there is files, there is SQL, there's lot many other available. Apart from that, we created a small sample report. We added an interactive filter. We also looked at how we can share this and embed into a custom application, or share it in a email fashion, or share it in a link fashion. All that can be done. Or maybe add give a direct access to a particular user in a view or an edit way. So that's all. Thanks a lot, everyone. Hope you were able to, have a complete useful experience today, because we looked at, so far we're in the journey is how do you use data flow to, insert your streaming events into BigQuery, how you use BigQuery to do a custom analysis using SQL statements. The data which is there in the BigQuery, we looked at the e-commerce data set. There was also a pre-aggregated table called report, sales report, how we utilize that to create some of the data studio dashboards, add interactive filtering on the top of it, use it for sharing it across different users. In the next session, we'll also look at how we can analyze this data using our notebooks for data science purposes. So stay tuned for that, and thanks a lot for joining.